July 13th, 2001, a film called Legally Blonde featuring Reese Witherspoon as Elle Woods was premiered. Elle tackled what a lot of professional women come face to face with. How can I aesthetically embrace my femininity and be taken seriously at the same time? So today we're going to break down the 3 visual components that Elle Woods adopted after finding herself at Harvard Law and how you can adopt the same authority aesthetic too. Plus, if you stick around in the end, I'll speak on how she changed her speech style to be seen as smart and confident. Point number 1 is the nonverbal communication. Have you ever noticed someone that just looked confident, dominant, or intimidating? Without knowing a single thing about them, you made a quick snapshot judgment. That's called an impression formation, or what you might know as first impression, a collection of micro cues through nonverbal communication like body language and facial expressions, which I have a whole video on. I'll link in the description. There are 3 key things Elle hits when it comes to appearing confident no matter where she goes through her nonverbal communication: the posture, the walk, the eye gaze. Even though Elle is an LA Cali girl, you don't see her walking around in flip-flops. You see her in heels. Love him or hate him, it forces you to posture up. It's actually hard to slouch in heels. Even when she's sitting down, however, you'll see that she still has good posture. It shows to her peers that she's not going to back down. It also helps with vocal clarity when you speak, something I talk about in my Verbal Power Academy course. Even if no one can see you have good posture, they can subconsciously hear if you have good posture. Somebody who mumbles or lacks in vocal clarity tends to have low confidence and poor posture. And good posture also helps with a strong walk. Whenever Elle walks, she walks with purpose and intention. I spoke on this with my breakdown with Jessica Pearson, but a strong walk has 3 things: spacing, intention, and energy. A person comfortable in their environment is not afraid to take up space. So even though Elle is a petite woman, she takes up all the space that she can when she walks. Spacing either between the legs with bigger strides, between the arms through swinging, or even simply spreading up and out like carrying something. Intention is walking with a purpose. Know where you're going and go to it. The key here is that you're not easily distracted by other factors. You're focused and not daydreaming as you walk. The energy is the force to get there. This doesn't mean it's fast or quick. As a matter of fact, it may be very slow steps because you're not afraid to take your time, taking up space and taking up space in time, which brings us to eye gaze. When she walks up to Vivian Kensington, the protagonist, after dressing up in a sexy bunny costume because Vivian told her it was a costume party, Elle didn't break eye contact. She was showing her power. As a matter of fact, she was towering over Vivian, took an expanded stance, taking up as much space as possible, and confronted her directly. You can see that Vivian was affected by this in her eye shifting and lowered posture. Who really held the power here? Another good example of a strong eye gaze is Miranda in Devil Wears Prada. The icy gaze. Remember not to stare and naturally break eye contact every 3 to 15 seconds in a business setting. Point number 2, structured aesthetic. Have you ever heard someone say, "You look sharp"? What they're really implying is that you look confident, smart, and well put together. But why use the word sharp? Generally speaking, anything that is loose, flows, or curves is seen as flirtatious, open, and friendly. In the beginning, Elle exemplifies this perfectly in her outfit, accessory, and grooming choices. Then you see her transition into a more sharp or structured look once she's in Harvard Law School. Padded shoulders, crisp lines, and so on. Something that is structured or rigid is seen as organized, powerful, and stable. It plays to a deeper psychology within us. In Elle's case, you see the transition from wearing open-toe shoes versus closed-toe shoes, a plunging top to show her natural top curves versus structured tops with often structured shoulders. Her hair also transitions from curls to straight hair down versus neatly tied back. It's all an attempt to show more structure. Even in the scene where she pretends to be her friend Paulette's lawyer, she decided to wear glasses, adding structure directly on her face. You can see this in Devil Wears Prada as well, with the main character Andy as she transitioned from loose clothing and hairstyle to a more structured look. This is true for men and women, but easier for men to do in a way as they have an all-encompassing suit that is the epitome of rigid structure in clothing. There's a whole dress hierarchy I go into my course as well, but for this video's purpose, more structure in clothes signifies how well put together one thinks you may be. Point number 3, color aesthetic. We know that Elle went from a light-colored aesthetic to a darker tone natural color aesthetic that matched her peers at Harvard, the academia look. It reminds me of Blair Waldorf from the original Gossip Girl. Although we're talking about Americans, it carries the British aristocratic academic culture where the royal color palette was a way to signify social and economic status. Although the colors themselves are no longer reserved to nobility, the academic subcultural association with natural colors versus synthetic colors like bright pink still exists. So much so that it extends into the modern corporate world. When you see two people in formal wear, you might look at both of them as well put together. But the one in bright pink appears more fun and the one in the black appears more serious, even if it's the same exact dress. Even within this palette, Elle still plays with the more lighter colors that she favors, showing her personality. In the court scene when she breaks out into the old Elle, quote unquote, you'll see that at first glance, it seems like she's full Delta Nu with her open-toed shoes, pink dress, and hair curls. Although I don't think she would do well appearing in court this way in real life, she does now incorporate structure with her rigid lapel, cuffs that resemble a dress shirt, and perfectly tailored dress. You'll see at the end of her journey when she's valedictorian giving her graduation speech, she's back to her straight hair. Elle's speech. The first and most obvious one is that she starts to speak in down tones at the end of her sentences. For example, how are you? To how are you?
I totally forgot you go here. No, silly. I go here. Harvard. Law school. What, like it's hard?
When you say something that is factual, you want to speak in down tones at the end of the sentence.
You must always have faith in yourself.
When you want to appear friendly, you want to speak in uptones.
We did it!
She also used to use casual filler words in the beginning of her journey. In comparison to the end of her journey, she took out the filler words or it was intentional filler words. One thing I want to point out about Elle is that she always had fantastic prosody, and prosody is the musicality of your voice. Whenever she speaks, she's very interesting to listen to because unlike somebody who's a monotone voice, a robotic voice, she likes to play with her uptones and downtones. So when she talks, you want to listen. And that's on Elle Woods. Again, this is Lady Tina Leader. If you want me to analyze any other character in a movie, please comment down below and I will check it out. See you in the next video.